Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Batman Tumbler versus Two-Face and the Joker. This is set number 76303. It has 429 pieces and I paid $40 for this. So this came out at the beginning of the year, I want to say. I think this is a 2025 set. And they have done tumblers in play scale a couple different times. I've looked at one before on the channel, which I'll be able to compare this one to. It does look similar. Piece count wise, I think I don't know. This one maybe has more pieces, but is, smaller overall in size. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll look at that a little bit later. This set retails for $60. I got this soon after it released, and I just happened to, somebody maybe bought it and didn't want it, or they got a really good deal on it. The box is a little bit beat up for such a new product, but not terribly, and everything should be intact here. So I'm excited to take a look at this. I do like building Batmobiles of all shapes and sizes, and this is an interesting one that a lot of people like. I would really love to build one of the, all of the sort of big collector versions or the UCS style of the Tumbler. I think there's maybe two of those. The Michael Keaton Batmobile, the Batwing, all that stuff I would really like to do, but those, if they're retired and stuff, are pretty costly. There is a new big model of the TV 60s TV one, and I've built that smaller one. I would like to build that bigger one too, but either way, in this video we're going to look at this. So I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it while I build. I will speed the video up and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego DC Batman Tumbler versus the Joker and Two-Face, I just wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. It would be great to get there. I appreciate all the help. And then if you want to support the channel, you can give money to the channel here on YouTube with membership supers and thanks. You can financially support the channel via Patreon. There's a link in the video description. You can buy me a coffee. There's a link for that as well. There's some affiliate links. There will be an affiliate link to buy this set, and I'll maybe get a portion of, or a percentage at no additional cost to you. And then I want to talk about the build. So this is interesting. I do talk and compare this to a previous Tumbler from a couple years ago in terms of size. This one is interesting, more pieces than the previous one, but kind of more compact. It also has an extra figure and the side build of the bat signal. So we can start to see this take shape. It uses an 8-wide Speed Champion chassis. Those kind of side pods, sub-assemblies that we've already put on are pretty good. Here we're building up the back side, where we're gonna have the rear axle as well as a lot of the height there, some nice gold accents underneath there, and we're kind of laying all of the groundwork. It's taking shape, but I feel like tumblers don't really take shape until you get those forward arms and the front wheels on there. Into the final bag of pieces, we're going to finish out kind of the roof there, which we can open and close, add the front wheels. They are connected in the middle. The previous one weren't. Then we can do these sub-assemblies for the side, and then we add the wheels on the back, a couple final details, and that's it. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this Lego Batman Tumbler versus Two-Face and the Joker. This is pretty good. I just like this build. It's an interesting shape. There's usually some good techniques in these, at least for the ones that I've seen. This is based off of The Dark Knight, which is in my opinion, maybe not the best one of that Chris Nolan trilogy, but a lot of people think it is. I am partial to Batman Begins, but The Dark Knight is certainly iconic, and I don't really like talking about The Dark Knight Rises, but this is great to see. A little bit surprising to me. Like I said, they've done a few of these. I'm imagining that they all sell relatively well. This is an interesting one to me, and I'm excited to get into it. So we'll just dive right in here. And the first thing we will look at is the minifigures. So you do get a Batman minifigure. This would be the Chris Nolan Batman. They have a Batarang there, so good to get that. We have the cowl piece. The whites of the eyes are dual molded in the cowl. So that's kind of a more modern thing, so that the face underneath doesn't have the kind of headband on there. So here we have one of the faces, no headband there, but we don't get alternate hair for this character, has kind of a grimace on. And then we have another face with a more flat kind of expression. The cape that is around the neck is interesting. I don't know if I've seen this before. So we've seen kind of the rubberized cape for that polybag with the Michael Keaton Batman. That one had the cowl and the cape together. We've also seen kind of the rubberized capes for like the Doctor Strange, which goes around. This one has a full hole, so it does go around the front, but it is more of a rubberized thing, so we do get this structure back here and a little bit of that texture. So it holds its shape, but it's also not like crazy stiff, so you can move that around. It also allows for this character to sit and hopefully, pilot the Tumbler there while having the cape still on. Same with the cowl. Looking at the torso there, really detailed. So not a lot of colors, but the lines on here are really tiny. Good paneling, nice for the kind of updated bat suit there. The utility belt is really detailed as well. No printing on the midsection, no printing on the legs, no printing on the arms. Back of the torso, even though it's covered up by the cape, is really detailed here as well, so that's really nice. Yeah, I think this is a great torso. This is different than I'm used to seeing, not just the it's new to me. I don't know if it's been produced before, but this feels new to me, just the overall torso printing and everything there, so great to get that. The next one we'll look at is Two-Face. In this case, Harvey Dent here, Aaron Eckhart. This is a pretty good minifigure. I liked the Two-Face from the Lego Batman movie. Two-Face double demolition, whatever. I really liked that Two-Face. This one's a little more different. So Harvey Dent is what was he, a DA, district attorney or something like that. And this is pretty cool. So we get a coin here, which is actually like a special printed coin. I don't know how, they probably have produced this for a while, but it's got sort of it's their lucky coin. It's got a sort of, I don't know, Roman or Greek kind of helmet design sort of thing, and it's got these different scratches in it and whatnot. So that's printed. You do get an extra one of those, which is really nice. You could maybe put one on the bottom of the hand too, or not. That would be cool, but it's not double-sided, but either way you get that. They are wearing a suit. This is after they've been turned into Two-Face, affected by their accident that happens, or the outcome of some things from the other characters that are in this set. So they only have like half the hair. I'm pretty happy with, the hair piece here. This is actually kind of a hairstyle that they use for people who maybe have like a shaved side of the head and then kind of like a swooping over the top. This is a different one than I'm used to seeing, but they have done stuff like this in the past, or like mohawks or different stuff. This one's pretty good. I think the color fits on, and then the face is good because we have the one side, which is still kind of the Harvey Dent side, and then we have the Two-Face size over here with some of their chemical burns, and some of their skin is discolored. Also on the back of the head, we don't have an alternate face. We just have that extra kind of detail right back there. And of course, it's impossible for Lego to, do anything over here. And now I'm wondering if like they avoid doing that because they don't want to do ears, which I guess, we know that they have the ability to print all the way around, but they don't do it for minifigure heads. That's fine. And then looking at the torso itself, they are wearing a suit. What they were wearing, it's kind of this gray suit, got a tie there, but one side of the suit is sort of burned here. Yeah, maybe it's not chemical burns, but it was just a regular fire. I can't remember. And that's also represented on the back. So they have one suit there. They have a black arm here versus the gray arm over there. No printing on the midsection, no printing on the legs. Pretty good figure there. And then the last one we get is the Joker. This is the Heath Ledger Joker, the Dark Knight Joker, which is a little bit different. It is a fan favorite, I think. You know, I don't know if I really prefer like the Cesar Romero or the Jack Nicholson or the Mark Hamill or the Heath Ledger here or the Jared Leto or you know, any of these other Jokers that we've seen represented. This one's good. They do have a $100 bill here as an accessory. Hairpiece feels about right. It's hard to get sort of the unkept, almost greasy, sort of flat but wavy hair that Heath Ledger has in this role. But the color is all right. Face printing is good. It's on just a, you know, a tan or kind of pale tan minifigure head, but then we have the face painting here, the white face paint, kind of like the scar looking things. The paint, kind of the edge of the paint is not like super crisp, so it feels more appropriate here. It looks a little more haphazard. And then the eyes there as well. This character does have an alternate face, which has them more in a kind of smile there. I mean, you know, he's always smiling, sort of, but at least besides the scars here, we have sort of a flat mouth area. And this one, the mouth is open slightly. Torso there, good. The colors feel right. So different layers of different colors in here. Feels pretty standard for a Joker figure, so we do get that. No printing on the midsection, no printing on the legs, no printing on the arms. Back of the torso is very basic here. And those are the 3 minifigures, so that's good to get in here. It feels, I think overall fine. You know, these are the main sort of villains from the movie The Dark Knight that this is, you know, sort of based on. And I'm not sure if there was really like anybody else I would rather see in here. Feels good. It feels a little bit strange to me because, you know, the Joker and Two-Face here both are sort of just going to be out and about, sort of on feet. They don't have their own little like area. They don't have their own vehicle. They wouldn't probably from the movie, I don't think, although maybe they could have. I mean, it just seems like if Batman is in the rest of the set, I don't know how they are engaging with these other characters necessarily, and I also don't remember how much these characters interacted with each other. I know there was a little bit of interaction, but either way, those are the figures, 3 figures in this set. Next thing we'll look at is this bat symbol light here. So maybe I could have swapped something out for a Commissioner Gordon or something, I don't know. This is on a 4x4 turntable with a disc piece there. We use kind of that hull type piece. Over here we have a bracket, light, lever, just a rounded tile or rounded plate over here rather. Then we build this up with a big round brick with the, you know, it's a 4x4 circular brick. It's got Technic pinholes on all sides. We put these sort of beam with the plate or tile piece on the bottom, and then we build this up. This is a sticker. Maybe I would have liked it to do like a clear back sticker and maybe do the, like they did for, or I don't know, like do one of the pieces that sort of glow in the dark would have been cool, or a light brick, but that seems unlikely for something like this. Overall, like this is a sticker on here and it's just on the dark bluish gray. I don't think it's going to react to light in any way, but we get the idea. This can spin around. This can go all the way around as well. So you can kind of activate that and call upon Batman to, you know, do something. And then the rest of the build is the Tumbler itself. This is really quite good. So it actually does use one of these 8-wide Speed Champions chassis that they're not using right now for like the Formula 1 stuff, but they use them for a lot of Speed Champions in the 8-wide. I think that's what it was developed for. Most of this, you know, there's a lot of studs on top. You kind of start by building up the rear because there's a lot of stuff we have to like lay the groundwork for first, some different Technic bricks used in the back before we can kind of move forward. Pretty early on, you get just the general shape of like where the chassis is, the extension back here, the plate up here, and then the part up in the middle there. Once we get that going, you can build up the rest of the back. It's, you know, taller at the back generally than it is at the front. We build the cab, you know, somewhat, I guess, a little bit later. We do use brackets. These this starter brick has a couple studs on the side, and we use some different brackets in there so that this whole section here is its own kind of sub-assembly that's all studs on the side, and it's actually pretty thick, pretty wide. So without those there, it would look way different. I'm just going to call those the side pods because I've been using that for, you know, talking about Formula 1 and everything there. But these like side sections, actually, the way that they're built is nice. It's pretty straightforward. Detail is good, the different textures, the different levels of depth throughout there. I like the use of all the gold, kind of pearl gold studs throughout this that just give it that little bit of pop throughout. So that is nice. So we build out these big pods that then connect to the main sort of cockpit or the driving area and have the different windows and stuff there. We do kind of build out the front a little bit before we, you know, add on the final like wheels and everything there. We can open this up so we can see it right here. This is all nicely tiled out with some different ingots and stuff in there. We have a space for them to sit, sticker inside on the left and on the right. Then there's also a lever, a vent piece, and a cheese wedge and the translucent down in there as well. We can sit Batman in there. There's also just a steering wheel, a Lego steering wheel in there. If I get this character in here, I'm going to leave the cape on and see. Now, I believe it's not technically center steering just because the those Speed Champions 8-wide chassis, I think, have sort of 5 studs inside. So the one part with the lever or the joystick, the vent, and the cheese wedge there is 1 stud, and then we have those 4 studs left over. So I think it's slightly shifted to the left side if we were inside facing out the front. So they can fit in there with their cape. They're just studded down on 2 studs. The front of the legs or on the bottom of the legs is what connects, which is fine. Room for the cape, room for the cowl in there. Pretty difficult to see them once they're in here, but at least from the outside, that's okay. There is a clip back here. That is so we can clip a Batarang in there. I do always appreciate when there are considerations of the accessories and extra pieces and stuff. Not super roomy in there, but you know, enough room at least to have the cowl and cape stay on without having to change anything. We use the newer dark translucent, just kind of regular 4-wide windshields on the right and left and on the front. Then we use these just clipped on areas here for the different kind of paneling to make this look right. We got the flags here that we actually connect this a whole sub-assembly into some Technic bricks there. So they use a bunch of the like inverted tile Technic pins. So I guess on one side or on one side it's just a 2x2 plate, but then on the bottom it is a Technic pin, and only some of those came off. This is going to be probably difficult for me to get back in here now, but that was a nice little sub-assembly too, and I really appreciated how like it's a small consideration, but it ends up, or it's a small kind of quirk, but it seems like a nice detail to me, is that because we use these pieces that are like the multi-angled slope kind of brick there, when we put the flags on, then the flags are not like perfectly even with each other, which feels really right to me. It's just kind of a sort of a subtle small thing that I appreciate there. Looking at the front, we got a little more gold up here for maybe some struts, or I don't know, suspension or different things. I don't know what else they would maybe be up there, but those are gold candlesticks kind of angled in there, which is fine. Got the wheels up front. We use one of these sort of axle plates that's relatively new. There's one more sticker here. There's only 4 stickers in the set. That's not that bad. You know, 2 of them are inside, which is totally fine with me. They're easy enough to put on, and they are internal details. One of them up in the front here is not a huge deal. I think it looks okay. This one I probably could have done a better job putting on, because it's on one of those like more textured slope pieces. I might be able to get it off pretty cleanly. And then the other one's kind of on the side build, which again, I don't really mind. Would have been great if this was a print on a glow-in-the-dark piece, but you know, that I guess was maybe too much to expect, although I'll cover that more when I get into the value of this. Overall, the build here is pretty good. We got 2 of these bigger wheels at the back on each side, so 4 total, and then just the narrower ones up front. They use the same size rim, but 4 of the rims have an axle hole, and the 2 up front use a pinhole up there. Looking at the back, we still have kind of like the paneling going back here. We do have stud shooters or tile shooters on either side, so good to get that. We kind of have some mud guards or different things to accentuate kind of the shape here, cover up the wheels there. The back is not super impressive. We do use Technic bricks in here that then we use the axle with the kind of stopper on it, and then Technic pins and pin that in, so these aren't going to go anywhere unless those Technic pins come out. They spin relatively well there. And then we have sort of the jet propulsion at the back with that nice kind of gradient dual molded flame piece. It doesn't spin or anything. I like the kind of the use of gold in here as well for the vent and the jumper plates, as well as the clips here that hold this kind of bar piece there. And that's sort of everything. The studs in the stud shooter are orange, translucent orange. You get 4 of them, so you have 2 extras, and I have 1 loaded in each side here already. Those don't have, you know, a spot where they're supposed to go. It would be easy enough to dump them in here. There's not like there's room, and I think it would be easy enough to get them out of there. They could also be studded down. There's not a ton of exposed studs or stuff that's out of the way. Potentially, you know, on here on this side, on these at the back, there are maybe places you could put them. I don't think there's any place that's like specifically, or up here I suppose, but I don't think any of those are like intended to be you know, used to hold the additional ammunition. I would have liked to see that. Could also do it maybe on the side, wherever is the least sort of obvious and intrusive to the overall design, but also being easy enough to access if we lose the ones that are in there. Would have liked for them to consider that. I think there is probably room in here that they could have done something like put a crate or something, and then on the crate piece, like, you know, put a 2x4 on top, and then put this this high, and of all that gold sub-assembly stuff down in there on top of that, and then we could like use that. We could lift this off really easily, and underneath there maybe we would have a crate. That could be a mod to make it a little better. I think the shape is good here. The colors are good. You know, color blocking is good. It's black. It's mostly black. There's a little bit of gray, not a big deal. The little pops of gold work for me. There's a little bit of pearl silver up here as well, which I like. It rolls well. It's got good weight. Yeah, it's nice that we can fit Batman in there all the way with their cape and cowl. You know, I don't know how great like this little side build works to interact with any of the play pattern or story or narrative stuff that I'm maybe misremembering here, but we do get Batman themselves and two sort of villain characters with the Joker and Two-Face. We get a vehicle, and we get a little bit of a side build there. I'll show the extra pieces because you do get some. You get an extra of the lever, extra of the Two-Face coin, extra Batarang here as well. The trigger mechanism, your 1x1s, your studs, your tiles, all of that good stuff, your 1x1s, tiny pieces. And this set is 429 pieces, retails for $60, $429, and then 3 minifigures. $60 retail and 429 pieces. So I paid $40 for this, which is, you know, a pretty good discount, especially getting it like really relatively. I actually got this probably in the beginning of February, so maybe a month after this released. I want to say this came out in the beginning of January of 2025. And so, you know, to get this for a little over 20% off, a little over 30% off. This is $20 off. 30% would be like $18 off. So I got it for a pretty steep discount, really early into its lifespan. And again, I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe the person I bought it from just needed money. It seemed like a great deal to me. I wanted this set anyway. I was maybe going to wait. The last Batmobile that came out, which was the Batman the Animated Series one, I think was also $60. And at first I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good price. And then I think I came around on that one a little bit. This one, when it was announced and released, images were put out, I sort of thought that this was also overpriced at $60. For this one, I still think it's overpriced at $60, and there are a couple reasons for that. One of them, you know, these figures are good. They're popular characters. Well, at least 2 of them are, and they're fine, but they're not like the best version of these characters, I don't think. You know, no printing on the legs for any of them, no printing on the arms, whatever. And so that, and you know, they don't necessarily like fit in the set with me. If someone like a Commissioner Gordon to maybe you know, work the bat signal maybe would have made a little more sense to me. And these characters just can be about interacting with the Tumbler or interacting with Batman, but they don't have a ton of immediate purpose to me here, and I can't imagine these are that valuable. They may be, but they're going to be readily available. I don't know if there's anything specifically new about these. Like I said, I thought the Batman felt a little bit newer than ones I'm used to seeing, but the other ones I don't really know. This is heavy. You know, a lot of that weight is going to be the tires. So these are like the bigger rubber tires. They're not rubber all the way through, but they have more rubber than most. Same for the ones up here. And yeah, there's a lot of Lego here packed into this. It's kind of surprising actually, because the last Playscale Tumbler, at least one of the other ones, was the Tumbler Scarecrow Showdown, which I've reviewed on this set, and I have it here. It's not 100% intact, actually. Let me see what I can do about that quick. Okay, so it's not 100% complete, but just as a size reference, I think it's important to see. This is the previous one. It's now retired, and the pieces that I'm missing are like one of these kind of pieces up top here and one of these kind of clipped pieces on the back over on this side. I think that's all of them, but look at the size difference on these. They are considerably different. This older one is quite a lot bigger than the new one, and that's really interesting because I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, but this new one has 429 pieces, 3 minifigures, and a side build. And the older one here that's bigger just had 2 minifigures. It has fewer pieces, not more. It's got 422. So just 7-piece differences, but we, I guess, just use a lot more smaller pieces there than we do on this one. And there's a lot of differences. There's differences kind of in the overall shape. There's certainly differences, like these front wheels are bigger than these ones. These rear wheels are way bigger than the other ones here. So if we just take a look at that, it's really noticeable there. The difference, looking at the bottom, the shape of like how and the techniques even for how they did these side pods and kind of getting this extra angle where it widens out there was not done as much on this one. We used like hinge pieces in here and some studs on the side stuff, and then some plates, angled plates going different ways, so that's interesting. The kind of little gold pieces underneath here are way more pronounced on the new one. But just interesting to see the differences here. I mean, overall, like this one even has a 4x10 plate versus the 4x8 right here on the front. So just a lot of differences. I also kind of like the one up here that doesn't have anything connecting the wheels to this center bit. I don't know which one's more accurate technically. Something about this feels a little bit strange to me. It's probably like a little more sturdy and everything. The sticker up here is not the same exact one here. They're different size. The overall look of everything is different, and this one just, it feels like a lot more. It's also, you know, probably a little bit taller. If we look in here, instead of these 4 wide window pieces, we use the 6 wide for both the front and the side mirrors there. You can fit 2 figures in this one at least, and you know, it's a pretty big difference. And like I said, this has fewer pieces than the new one. There is more stickers on this one, so there, a couple inside, and then yeah, this one only came with Batman, an alternate head for Batman when he had the like fear gas or whatever, and then a Scarecrow figure. So interesting to see. You know, maybe this is just, yeah, it is just a lot of bigger parts here, but you know, this is fewer pieces, fewer minifigures, 7 less parts, bigger overall. And then when you consider like the size here, this one also has this is more than the 7 parts difference. Same, like the minifigures themselves are probably, you know, 5 or 6 pieces depending on their accessories and whatever else. So a really substantial size difference. I do love being able to compare models as they kind of update them throughout time, and in this case it's not perfect just because I don't have this one 100% correct right now. I just grabbed it, and it is missing a couple things. I don't know if I want to really weigh in on which one I like better. I'm just trying to get a grasp on the differences between them, because there are a lot of similarities. I mean, they're you know, working based off of the same reference here, and so just interesting. You know, more pieces, smaller build, and you know, more pieces, and a side build, smaller stuff. So just more 1x1s and tiny pieces in here that make this more compact. And I don't know, scale wise, maybe this is better for minifigures here than this one. Maybe this one is a bit too big for minifigures, really, because the rear wheels are, taller than a minifigure even with their cowl on, whereas the modern one or the newest one feels a little bit more right. So I guess I could be convinced by that. There are build things that I think one does better or not. There are some design things that I might like more on this one, but then other design things I like more on this one. And there's probably my favorite one ultimately would be some cross between the two. Thinking then about this one and the value, I think it would be good to note like how much the other one retailed for, because that one was, I think, came out, it was quite some, I guess, couple years ago, 2021, 2022, and this one retailed for $40. Bigger, slightly less figures, bigger tires. So it retailed for $40, and now in the 5 to or 4 to 3 to 4 years since this is retired, because I think it was on in production or on the shelves until the end of 2022. So 2 years and some months difference here. You get the bigger machine, the bigger set. $40 retail price. When I bought this one, it was already retired, so I might have paid $50. I don't have to go back and check, and that seems to be about the price. But this one, the one that's 2025, retails for $60. Smaller build, maybe more intricate, more pieces slightly. But what do we get for the more pieces? Well, we do also get this. We get an extra figure here, but the changes, this frankly just isn't worth that much to me in a set like this, and really neither of none. The figures don't add a ton for me either. Like, it's kind of a given that they're going to put at least one Batman, or they're going to put Batman in a set like this. I think it's arguable whether they needed both figures, and depending on like the inclusion of putting Joker and Two-Face in here instead of just Joker, or just Two-Face, but that I think would be worse. So just Joker, remove Two-Face. I don't think they're adding, like, that doesn't make $20 difference to me. And I know that, or at least it's my belief that Lego they have a price they want the set to be, and the designers kind of try to build to that price point. So they want a $60 Tumbler, and this is where we got. And sometimes, or maybe they have a piece count in mind and a price in mind, and we're trying to design towards that. Sometimes it seems like little side builds like this are like, I have a little bit of budget left over, either piece budget or whatever, and I don't know what else to use on them. So yeah, maybe I can do this. We can throw another figure in here. Most of the time, extra figures are great and appreciated. I wish they would have extra figures for other sets more often, but in my mind, not for the additional cost of $20 increase in the MSRP. So it's possible that one would say, these aren't a fair comparison. I think they're like one of the better comparisons here. They're only separated by a couple years, and from the end of 2022 to the beginning of 2025, I guess, the global economy has changed slightly, but not in a way that makes me think that this one should be $20 more than this one. And so I would have liked to see this be cheaper. I paid $40 for this, which is what the other one retailed for. That would have been way better than 60. But you know, this is I guess 50 would have been fine as well, especially, okay, if it's $5 per figure. I think that's a little bit high, but you know, fine. Then we're getting close, although like the vehicle itself might only be 35 or whatever, or 30, and then the two figures in the other one brings it to 40. And the way it works out, obviously 430 pieces for $60, the price per piece is kind of bad compared to this one, which had fewer pieces, a lot lower retail price, you know, 33% lower. And this one, so it had more bigger pieces just because it's a bigger thing, which bigger pieces are harder to produce. So the price per piece ratio is way better on that previous one from a couple years ago with the Scarecrow. This one is good. There's like a lot of stuff here. I think $60 in my mind is too much. 40 would have been like really, really good. Would have liked that a lot. Anything less would have been, you know, really exceptional. 50, I think, or like 45, 50 is acceptable to me. And then going up from 50, another 20% up to 60 is not great in my opinion. And I think that's different than the animated one, because the animated series Batmobile might have had a similar similar piece count. I'm not 100% sure, but it may be pretty close. Oh, not that one. Let's see here. The one that came with the plaque sticker and the Mr. Freeze, and maybe that one did have the same cape then as this one, but like the Mr. Freeze and the Harley Quinn. Let me see if I can find that set. Where is it? Forgive me, I'm struggling finding it because there are so many Lego Batmobiles. There's only one that's from the animated series. So that one had 435 pieces, so a little bit more. It was longer for sure. I liked the building techniques on that one a lot. Also had the kind of stand, had a sort of display character to it. 3 figures in that one. Those figures had leg printing. Well, Mr. Freeze maybe doesn't, but the rest of them do. Harley does, I believe, and so does Batman. And I think Batman's legs are also dual molded for that one. So again, not like the easiest comparison. That one I thought was overpriced. After building it and handling it, it made a little more sense to me, but I can't say the same about this Tumbler. So yeah, I would have liked to see $50, $45, $40 here, and I think that's repetitive enough. I feel like I've said that a million times. So anyway, I like this. It's interesting. One of my favorite things is to be able to compare, you know, these same kind of models designed at different times and see what are the differences, what are the similarities and stuff like that. And I like looking at stuff at all different scales as well. So if I am able to get one of these at the kind of big collector scale, I would be interested to see, you know, how those look compared to these. And same if I, you know, found these at Polybig or, you know, small build versions as well. And I think that's it. I like this. Too expensive, and that's that. So if you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego Batman, more Batmobiles, and then tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming Lego videos. Subscriptions help me a lot. If you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing so. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. And if you want to support the channel in a different way, you can do that here on YouTube. You can financially support the channel. I'm not part of the Lego Ambassador Network. I'm not affiliated with any company. I pay for all these things with my own money. I don't earn, very much money with the YouTube or anything like that. If you wanted to contribute to that and help, there are ways to do that. It is greatly appreciated. There's membership supers and thanks on YouTube, Patreon. It's in the video description. There's a link, and on my page there's also a buy me a coffee link, some affiliate links. There'll probably be an affiliate link to buy this, so if you click on that link, buy this set with your own money at no additional cost, I might get a percentage from the sale, which is another great way to support the channel. Everything adds up, every little bit counts, and I appreciate it, so thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks, bye.